Guten Tag, everyone. So a long time ago, someone asked me to review Fuelme models, and I looked at the price of them and I dismissed it because I was pretty happy with my Time Micro Porsche 911. But I really like this color scheme here, and I looked at the Time Micro version of this car, and for the price, it looks good. But I think this one has some extra details that maybe will help justify me spending a lot more money on this one. We're gonna find out. Alright, so let's see. So, card back there. You can visit their website. Seems to be an official RWB product. Alrighty. Well, not. Well, yeah, it does say collaboration product. Alright. I don't know anything about the Royal Ocean car. All I see is pictures of it in 3 different forms. In just blue, this, and then a version 2 where it's got some crazy stripes and stuff. So, if anyone knows the history, I don't even understand really why these cars are named. They have names to them, but which is kind of weird. But, anyways. There's a photo comparison of the front there. Now, when I looked at the photos of the Time Micro version, it had the license plate, but it was just printed on. But this one I think is a separate piece. We'll get into it when I get the review going. Just want to get this out of the way here. Alrighty. Couldn't find any images of this from the rear view, but this is I think the same car, but without the fish pattern on it. Yeah, sorry, I can't focus on 2 things at once. So, alright, let's take a closer look at this model now and see what's happening here. So first, the base is pretty sure it's laser cut acrylic, and then the edges are polished. Possibly it could be cast acrylic, but I'm not sure. I also feel like there should have been tape there, but there's literally some tape right here. But you saw me open this thing and it just fell out as if there was no tape. As if it was opened before. Could have been, I bought this off eBay, so I don't know if the seller inspected it beforehand or if it's a used model. Seems to be 2,000 of them. Probably of this colorway. Alright, well, I guess maybe the owner of this car is named Peter Tudor. Alright. Nice, photo-etched piece here. This is all etched away, so these letters are raised now. And then this yellow paint here in this section here, so pretty impressive just for a nameplate. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is a resin model. It's not die-cast metal, just based on the price. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong all the time. Alright, so I guess let's start with the front view here. This Porsche crest is an elusive one. I've never seen a really good one until now. This is the best Porsche crest I've ever seen. You can almost read Porsche, or maybe you can, it's just that my camera can only magnify 4 times. So that is definitely the best Porsche crest I've ever seen. Very impressive. I think it's a foil sticker or something, because it's got glue residue around it. So that's impressive. You also note the license plate is a separate piece there. It's not printed on like the Time Micro one. So it's also not very thick like a TLD would have. There's also a photo etched red tow hook right there sticking out. The grills have nice black texture. I wouldn't be surprised if those are metal pieces. Let's see. I don't know. Could be plastic pieces. But there's a good separation between the blue and those things in those grills. So they're definitely separate something. You'll also notice there's tiny little silver rivet marks here going around the whole chin lip here. Very nicely printed. This canard here is very thin as well. I'm pretty sure that's a separate piece of plastic glued on. And then you'll notice here the turn signals. They're not only plastic, but they actually have molded details, like a reflector, all those little facets on the back side. And so now the headlights do the same thing. It's not just one smooth piece of plastic. It's literally molded, so it has all the refraction and refractory molding on the backside. Alright. If anyone has a Time Micro version of this, you know, maybe you could leave a comment as to what makes this so different from your Time Micro version. Alright, you can see the little rivet dimples there. There's also, I think, a Michelin Man or something waving at you there. The wheel, pretty good separation of the gold middle and the chrome barrel. And the disc brake system back there, it looks like it's just maybe it's a silver or a gray metallic rotor, and then the caliper seems to be black. The tires have some decent curvature to the sidewalls. There's no way this model is going to roll. You can just see the tires rubbing the inside of the fender. Then we're carrying across here. This thing is running decals, I think. Yeah, you can see the little bit of clear next to the lettering here. But since this will never leave this base, or the plastic case it can't, you know, the cover, I'm never going to touch this. So hopefully the decals won't crack off in 10 years, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Alright, so another one of these little side canards, I guess, and again, very thin plastic. It's not part of the casting, it's a separate piece. One thing I do feel is the wheels are pretty weak. There's no lug nuts, there's no center hole. I mean, I guess there's an indication of the center, but where are the lug nut holes in the lug nuts themselves? So that's actually a big oversight by Fuelme. That's something I would expect to see on like a $6 model, you know, lug nut details. So that's a big letdown. The door handle sticks out. It's got a little bit of depth above and below it as well. The mirror is a separate piece. I'm not sure if it's painted or not. Hard to say. It is very glossy. I mean, well, I don't know. But it has a reflector on it. It's literally reflecting the blue body right there, so that's very, very good. The side windows here, they're that sheet plastic. See? No distortion. I might get it, well, maybe my camera can't focus back there, but there's no distortion. And then there's also, I'm pretty sure this is like a piece of photo etch metal painted black. There's literally a lip there, you can hear it. So that's representing the molding very, very well. Decal of some sort, Nürburgring, interesting. Maybe this car's located in Germany or Europe somewhere. Okay. This one says MAD on the tire. I thought there was always idlers or idlers on RWB when he spray paints on there. Okay. This little vent detail, I'm gonna have to back out. The plinth is too long. Okay. I think there's a separate piece of metal in that vent. Yeah, you see, it's not just paint, it's actually a separate piece. Like a little grill back there. You'll see the exhaust tips, they're pretty round, but I think they're plastic. I don't think those are metal. Again, a separate license plate. I can feel the lip of it. And then the taillights have a texture on the back side. So good separation of the color too. Orange, red, the white is really good. Although I do feel like it's recessed better here on this side than this side. You know, I feel like this shouldn't be sticking out like that. It's supposed to be flush. So a little bit of a quality control problem, or possibly it was designed poorly. You know, this lamp, maybe this light is too big. It's, yeah, strange. It's too bad. Alright, so there's some RWB printed under here. Or it's a decal, I'm not sure. Gotta get a different angle. Different angle here. I don't know. I think it's a decal. I wonder if this trunk opens. It looks like it's a separate piece. I'm gonna lightly lift on this. No. Well, it could be a separate piece, but I think it's glued in place. So you notice the wing is very, very thin. Like these side struts here, I'm pretty sure those are pieces of metal just because they're thinner than the tip of this dental pick. You know, this dental pick's kind of old. Let me get a new one. Even a new dental pick, it's quite thin. Alright, look at here. We have some black down there. I guess that might be black paint in there. Paint wash, it's looking good. Very thin defroster lines. You can see the interior through the back glass like a real car. And then yes, you can see through the front again because it's sheet windows. There's a rear view mirror hanging there as well. Alrighty. Let's see what else we got. Well, the wiper blades. Those are very good wiper blades because they're put inside a hole and they're coming out, and it looks like the blade itself is perpendicular to the windshield. Right? You see? Oh boy, let me get my finger behind there. Yeah, that's as realistic as you can get. The blade itself is, you know, wiping the windshield, and yet the arm is attached to something on the body. So, very, very impressive. One of the best windshield wipers I've ever seen. Seems like there's a sunroof on this guy, and it's a decal, but unfortunately there's a tiny bit of that decal is missing right there. You'll notice the paint is very nice here on the roof. Look at the reflection of the pick. There's not much waviness to the edge, nor even down here, so I wouldn't doubt if this model was hand polished after it was clear coated. But is that emblem in the under the clear coat? I don't know. Let me look at it again. I don't think it's underneath. I think it's on top of the clear coat. Although, it would be nice. It is possible. This is all clear coated in there. I don't know. It's hard to say. It would be ideal if it was underneath the clear coat, because then the longevity would be a lot longer. I'm also noticing this little black here for this inlet into the interior. I'm pretty sure that's a separate piece of metal. I can feel a ledge right there. Alright, so the exterior I think we've covered now. Let's see if what we can see on the inside of this guy. Fortunately, there's so much reflection. Let me move the camera around, try to get a... Here we go. It's not a reflection there. Now I gotta try to hit the focus. Alright, unfortunately it's a dark interior. I'm gonna need to get a flashlight now. Alright, look at those. That instrument cluster is quite fantastic. It's possible those are real numbers. My camera's just not that good. The steering wheel looks a little weak though. I don't know why it has that crazy texture on it, as if it was painted very poorly or painted with dust on it beforehand. Yeah, it's really weird because the dash is smooth, but why is that steering wheel? Unless it's supposed to mimic a suede steering wheel, but the arms themselves wouldn't be suede, right? It looks like those would be metal arms. Alright, what about this side? Yeah, there's some bunch of molded in radio or HVAC controls. What about the seat? Yeah, it's just molded black. I don't see any harnesses or anything like that. No seat belt buckles. The rear seats, same thing. So I do feel like that this interior, although it's better than most diecast. Well, no, I can't even say that. I mean, all it has is basically a decal in the instrument cluster. But other than that, it's just black plastic. So I know BM Creations has instruments. So a BM Creations costs maybe a quarter of the price of this thing. So I don't feel like the interior is worth the money. I do feel the exterior though, well, except for the wheels again. Yeah, so let's take a look at a couple other cars or a couple other models and see what kind of value this is compared to some other brands. I'll put this gently on the thing. Probably shouldn't have picked a sandpaper base to spin it on. It's gonna scratch up the base of this thing. You know what? Here, I'm gonna have to swap that out. This thing is, look at what it has done to this rotating thing. This is all the sandpaper just messing the whole thing up. So I have this foam one here, or sorry, I'm gonna go with this painted one. All right. So the first one I'm going to pull out is a Time Micro, but it's not a 993. It's an older generation. And again, for the money, it's quite good. It still has separate windshield wiper blades, but they're not bent 90 degrees. It still has a tow hook. The wheels are pretty good, but the rear wiper is just molded in. It actually has good defroster lines. Yeah, so that's why I really haven't had a great desire to get these Fuelme models, because this model was so good and it's a fraction of the price. But I really love this livery. It's like this koi fish. If I was in the Yakuza, this is the kind of car I'd probably drive. Because the koi fish. Sorry to sound racist. Koi are very strong fish. They jump very high. They're very strong. Okay. The next one I'm going to pull out is by Timothy and Pierre, and this is turning out to be a giant letdown. This is one of my very early purchases, and it looks fantastic, but it's actually not even 1/64 scale. And then it has painted on turn signals, the corner lights are all painted. They're not clear plastic, so. And then it just has a plain black interior, I think, as well. So it has a lot of qualities of very inexpensive models, and yet it's priced in the same ballpark as this, I think, or maybe a little less, but still, it's the scale that really bothers me. Alright, so that one's out. I wouldn't collect Timothy and Pierre if you guys care about scale. Alright, this next one is by JEC, and it's a Porsche 934. I believe this is another resin model. The Time Micro was die cast. The Timothy and Pierre, I think, is resin, but out of scale. This one, I believe, is to scale. I'm looking at the wheelbase, and they're very similar. Although, granted, they're different generations of Porsches. So this also has sheet windows, and it also has it has a much more colorful interior. It has white seats, a red fire extinguisher, and then black, and then seat harnesses. So there's a lot more work going into this JEC. And look at the wheels on this thing. I mean, those are probably the best mesh wheels I've seen in my collection. So, yeah. JEC wins out on this one. Yeah, by far. It's just better detail. It also has the crazy bent wiper blades, plastic insert turn signals, grills, but also metal pieces for like hood pins or hood latches of some sort. Alright, so that's the best one we've seen so far. JEC, and they have a fantastic Jaguar E-Type, but I'm pretty sure it's hard to find now. So the big one is this makeup. I think this is the best 911 out there, but I could be wrong now. No, the Titan 64 is still a better model. Mainly, look at the interior of this thing. It is one of the nicest interiors I've ever seen. It literally has a gas pedal, a clutch pedal, and a brake pedal. So that's something you don't see very often. And just the finishing of it, it's just, I mean, it's a different Porsche, but if I had to spend the money again, I would definitely buy a Titan 64 over a Fuelme. But if the Fuelme just had a better interior, more colorful interior, I would like it more. But in their defense, I'm looking at the photograph of the real car, and it has a black interior. So, I guess really the major problem is the wheels. There are no lug nuts. That's a really big oversight. So, Alright, well, let's get the Titan out. Titan is still the king of 164 scale Porsches, I think. Alright, well, it's not to say that if you love Porsches, you shouldn't buy this. It's definitely better than a Time Micro version of the Royal Ocean. I just don't... Yeah, I've already mentioned the faults of it several times now, so I won't regurgitate that. Alright, well, I can't really say if I'm going to buy this brand again. I'll have to see what other castings they have. I don't need to have the same 993 again in a different livery. But if they have something with a different form factor, I might give them a try. Okay, well, if that happens, hopefully you'll be around to watch it. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.